Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze, and today is another Disc Golf Answer Man interview. Now, this is Nick and Justin from the Disc Golf Show, and I've known these guys for the longest time, way back when we first started our podcast back in 2014. And ever since I've been with Dynamic Discs, I've chatted with them on text, on messages, and have talked to them about different things going on with disc golf, but I've never really actually sat on a video call and talked to them and interviewed them. So I was like, you know what? I think it's about time. So in this episode, we get to know Nick and Justin a little bit more, how they got their start, a little bit what they got going on right now, and a little bit of future, what's going on with their show, the Disc Golf Show. So let's get into it. All right, guys. So how are you doing today?
I'm upright.
Oh, wow. I started with the tough questions.
You hit us with the hard ones right at the beginning.
They only get more hard. They get harder after this one. So I guess we got to stay tuned. Geez.
It's been a good morning. I've got coffee. I'm good.
That's good.
I'm good.
Oh yeah, you guys are what? 2 hours behind. I'm 12:50 right now. You guys are what? 10:50.
Yep, you got it.
Oh, okay, so still kind of the mid morning, getting ready to hit into the afternoon for you guys. That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
Well, like I said in the intro, I've been following you guys for quite some time. Have known about you. We've chatted, we've messaged before, and but I've never actually got to like sit and talk with you guys. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to do that. And just for some people that probably hadn't heard of you, tell me a little bit about the Disc Golf Show history. Give me the elevator pitch of the Disc Golf Show, how it started and where you got to where you are now.
Justin?
Sure, yeah. Nick actually approached me with the idea first. We were doing a podcast. What was that? 2005-ish, I think.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, and we were doing this podcast about news, and it had 7 people on it, and it was a terrible mistake. But your first shows usually are. and Nick was like, hey, there's this disc golf thing, because he'd recently introduced me to disc golf, and he's like, why don't we do a podcast on it? It's fun. You enjoy it, right? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? So, and that's literally how it started. We're like, I like podcasting. I like disc golf. We put them together. That's basically it. There was no really thought other than that kind of put into it. So
Yeah.
It was like anything, like when you introduce somebody to disc golf, they get hooked pretty quick. Justin got hooked.
Oh yeah.
And Justin has
Oh,
a
yeah.
background with music, so he has equipment. He has podcasting equipment. And yeah, he was down to do it. And we started it back in 2013, right around the time Smashbox started theirs. And, Terry's been involved with Disc Golf Guy stuff on his own forever. But yeah, it was fun. It was initially, we just, there wasn't a lot out there, and we decided, let's do it monthly back then. And it was a lot of news to cover, and, we had a blast doing it. We used to do it in person, and then we toyed around with different other ways to do it, and until we got to where we're at now.
A lot of failed experiments and complicated setups.
Yeah.
We tried the whole live streaming thing. We did the whole Twitch thing. Like we were trying everything just to try. It
Yeah.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, back in those times, I think, because we started the Disc Golf Answer Man, I think 2014. It was around that time. There wasn't really a lot of disc golf podcasts.
Nope.
When you had set out to do this, what was kind of the objective? Were you just going to talk disc golf, or maybe talk at disc golf events or tournaments? What was kind of the game plan there?
Yes. All of that.
All of that.
I think it was the plan. It was, we were so into it, at least for me, like I'm more on like the technical side, and I have a little artistic streak too, but it was really like, I think for me, what really I wanted to bring to the show was the stuff that I wanted to like know about personally, right? Like I was big into discs and the technology that went into discs and how they were made and every manufacturer. I wanted all of them. I wanted to throw them all and see how they all flew and do that kind of stuff. So really for me, I think what I tried to focus on, at least is the part of the show that I would bring is that aspect. Like, here's some discs and here's some stuff about it. And I'm a beginner. Here's what I'm learning. Here's some techniques that, Nick has been tossing to me, and I'm getting better, and he doesn't like it. And this is how you can make your friends not like you too, because you're getting better. And, just kind of like those ideas, right? That's kind of what I would focus on for the show. But the news aspect, really, I mean, I'll let Nick talk about that. He's always been in it. Like, he's been in it because he's been playing it for, forever. Because he's what, you're like 50 something now, Nick, or something? Yeah,
No,
something like
I turned 47 next month. Let's calm down, okay?
that.
Well, I've
No,
got you
I've
by a
been.
few years, Nick, so we're good. We're all
You don't
good.
look it. You don't look it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I ever played was like 96, I think, somewhere around there,
Yeah.
95, 96. A buddy introduced me to it. And when we started the show, actually, the one thing that we did decide the route we wanted to go was worldwide news. And because,
Uh,
again, I always throw it back to Terry. Terry was so involved and deep with the pros because he played so much in tournaments and stuff that we wanted to highlight anybody and everybody that was trying to build something in the community. And that's why
yeah.
we had a lot of small businesses as guests. I mean, we did get around to the point where we had a lot of pros on. We had Simon on a couple times, Eagle,
Hmm.
Jenkins,
Avery.
Avery and
Yeah.
Val.
Mhm.
Scott Stokely was on. Like we had a lot of pros on as well, but we had a lot of industry people on, which
Right.
was really cool to learn about that aspect of disc golf. And it was a passion project for us. It wasn't about, anything financial or anything like that. We just loved playing and we wanted to bring as much information to the masses as we could.
Yeah.
And funny enough, and Justin will remember this, our first big support was from Europe,
Oh,
was
wow.
Yeah.
from like Amsterdam. So I
Yeah.
don't know if you know Dean Schaub. He
Mhm.
is a guy who he used to call it Dean Street Amsterdam back in the day, but he's like in the community over in Amsterdam in Europe.
Hmm.
And so he contacted us and he was one of our first like show sponsors. And
Mhm.
he goes, "Hey, you've got a following that's building over here already." And that was kind of a shock to us because
Right.
we just started out and within I think it was like a couple months we started seeing again with Justin, he does all the analytics. So he would be like, "Oh,
Hmm.
we're getting people from here and there and all that good stuff." And that was a kind of a shock to us as to the initial far reach that we had, which was cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty
It's
cool.
kind of like the power of the internet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like you do the show as a hobby, that's kind of how it started, how it still is. It's right. It's a
Yeah.
hobby. It's yeah, like Nick said, it was never for like monetary because we'd be poor. It would be a terrible financial decision. I would be sleeping on the couch many a nights if I had one. Because I
Yeah.
might have to sell it. But no, like just the power of reaching so many different places just by putting it out there is just
Mhm.
still blows me away to this day. Like looking at the analytics now, like, oh look, there's a couple of people from Brazil that listen to the show. Like, why? I mean, that's awesome, but like, you're like, it blows me away sometimes. Like, this is really cool. Like the
Yeah, I remember the
ability to
beginning
reach
when
out
I
there and
started
touch.
when I started doing stuff, and I did a live. It was in 2009. I did a live stream of the Green Country Open,
Mm,
and I was in my expedition, and I was in the back part of it, and I had a desktop computer that was plugged into the car while it was running, and it was plugged in by Ethernet to the
yes.
house that was nearby, and I was live streaming just 2 holes. And I remember somebody in Australia said, well, they said, "Oh my God, I'm here in Australia and I'm watching live disc golf. This is amazing." And that's when I was like,
Right.
this is what I want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it is cool because you don't have to wait for anybody to give you permission. You literally just have to create an account somewhere and start live streaming and anybody can tune in. So yeah, I
Mhm.
totally get that feeling of, man, I have global reach and I'm sitting here right in my living room. And
Right.
at the time I was in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, streaming out to the world. So how do you guys feel? No, well, let's keep with the journey just a little bit, just so people
Okay.
understand where you're coming from. But I know that you at some point you guys took a break away from it, and then you decided to come back. Tell me a little bit about that.
It was all my fault. I confess.
Hey, listen, Justin's defense, he puts a lot on himself. He stretches himself thin. And just because he's so willing to do things and support and everything like that. But he just had a lot on his plate. And it was to a point where it was like a breaking point. And so
Yeah,
he stepped back.
astronomical amount.
Yeah.
Astronomical. I like, it's family and new child and just all this
Yeah.
stuff and it just came to a point where I'm like, dude, I can't keep up with it. I have this problem, and it's a very simple word in the English language. It's no. I have a really hard time saying that word. If
Yeah.
somebody comes to me like, dude, you want to do this? I'll be like, yeah. That's my instinct answer. Like, yeah, let's do it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I barely have enough time to breathe, which the first break was hey, look, I don't know if I can keep up with this anymore. It's just not something, that I can really bring any amount of good stuff to, right? I'm just not in a good mental space because I'm stressed, and I can't bring good content because I don't have enough time to research it, right? It's just one of those things, right? It's just too much. So I had to let something go. So that became the thing that I let go. And I have stepped back from the show as well. I'm kind of more behind the scenes now. But it doesn't mean I'm gone. Just means I'm taking a little break, trying to catch a breath again. Because life is life, right?
Well, and it ends up giving us, I don't know, different avenues in what
Mhm.
we could do with the show, because we talked about this. We do the show and it's a good hour, hour and a half usually. And for commute purposes, that's kind of long for consumability.
Mhm.
And this
Yeah.
and this gives me the opportunity where we don't have to schedule together to make sure everything is lined up. Um, I'll be able to I'm trying to kick it to weeklies now.
Okay.
And that way it's more consistent
Yeah.
and
He's
smaller,
been
more
wanting to do
consumable.
weekly forever.
Well, that is
Forever. He's like,
kind of
Justin, let's do weekly. Let's do weekly. I'm like, dude, I
that,
will die. I
that's kind of one of
can't do
the
weekly.
that's kind of one of the things that kind of the first break was because we tried to do weekly. We went from
Mhm.
monthly to weekly, and I think that was what
Yeah.
the tipping point was. And yeah, I mean, now that we started it back up, we started back the beginning of literally January 1st of 2024. Um, we did every other week, and then like I said, I'm trying to kick it to weekly now, and and I work um half in office, half home, so that gives me the flexibility to do that. And it's just,
Right.
there's a lot of shows out there now, and a lot of them that
Hmm.
do
Yeah.
live are on Tuesday. You've got Tour Life, you've got Smashbox. They do live in the evenings, and they're going 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours on average,
Mhm.
probably. And so I think maybe something, like I said, maybe this opens up a different avenue for the show. And
Yeah.
there's other things that Justin, I know he's got pet projects for the show that he wants to work on as well,
Oh, I do.
outside of actually the
I do.
podcast.
I'm not
So
done. I'm
yeah,
not done. You can't hold me down. I got stuff.
yeah,
It's coming
yeah.
out. I swear.
And again, like,
I think that's one thing though that I think a lot of people might not realize is when you talk about doing a disc golf show or a podcast really at all. And Bobby, I know you know this. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to get
Yes.
this thing done, right?
Yes.
It's not just turn on the camera and go, we're going to talk about disc golf today. I mean, you could, but it's
Yeah.
going to show in your show, right?
Hmm.
There's so much research and stuff that has to go into it. Like talking about like the discs or whatever, I've got a huge database of every single aspect you can think of with a disc that when I research new stuff that comes out that drops and I tell you about it, I'm giving you an informed opinion because I have all the data. I'm running all that before I talk about it, right? It's that type of stuff that's like, I don't think people really realize. They're like, oh, what's wrong with weekly? There's a lot wrong with weekly for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's so much stuff you have to do to prepare to do a show, you know?
Yeah, and that was like when we first started, and even now, like my thing was like, let. At first, it was like we don't have to create a show. The show will be created by people's questions when they submit the questions. But then we started
True.
realizing that as they submit questions, it's like it's better for us to kind of research a little bit if they have a pretty in-depth question. Excuse me, especially if it's about a certain disc or a certain mold. It's like we want to have
Mhm.
a more informed answer for you. So even when they submit the questions and that's your content, they're still taking time. You still have to take time to do a little research or grab the discs to be able to show the discs while we're talking about it. So
Right.
I totally get that. And you're right, weekly. People think it's just that hour or so. That's all the work that's put into it that week that hour that they watch it or listen, there's so much more behind the scenes that's going on. So I completely agree there. And Nick, you had mentioned something that right now there's like a lot more. So yeah, like when I first started, I think I did a search and I think there was
Yeah.
maybe five podcasts, and a couple of them were
Maybe.
more very local
Yeah.
centered podcasts. But now I think there's like 40.
There's a lot.
Some of them have been out there for a couple years and then they're dormant, but I could swear
Mhm.
there's like 40 different disc golf podcasts.
I believe it.
What has been your all's take on the evolution as far as it becoming? Now we all know that podcasting has become a bigger format for people to get their message out there, but to see disc golf, kind of give me kind of what's your feedback on that, watching it explode as far as a medium that people get their message out.
I think personally, disc golf and a lot of things, I think disc golf really got a big push in the front of a lot of people's faces when we had that vid thing that showed
Yeah.
up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Mm.
people were looking for stuff to do and consume, and what are you going to do? You're sitting at home, you're doom scrolling on the YouTubes, and there's a thing. Disc golf. Maybe I should try that out, right? And I think because of the availability, the ubiquity of information that you can get, I think it spawned all these things kind of naturally, right?
Yeah.
As time goes on and people have the ability and they know about certain things and enjoy different hobbies, they're going to do different things like create a podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just kind of a natural evolution of things. As disc golf gets bigger, so too does all the other stuff that goes around it, right? So I think we were really, really pushed forward pretty fast with the lockdown, right? I think that really, really escalated things.
Yeah, and
How does
now like people feel like there's a plateau, if not a little, there's a lull in growth right now, but that's expected because of such of a large boom during COVID. Um,
Hmm.
but I think I like it because it gets those local podcasts get you a lot of information from so many different areas and different points of view, but it also shows you who's super passionate about doing it and who, like Justin was saying, who thinks, oh, it's just doing this and just doing that. But then once you actually start to commit time and, just building show notes for a week or two, I'm constantly, as bad as it may be for me, I'm constantly on social media and YouTube and all that stuff looking for information that I can share with people. And even if it's a small, like I said, like the little businesses. I remember when disc golf pins started. I remember
mm,
when um uh, what is it? Eric and um Tina started their whale sack business. I
mm,
remember like all
mhm,
those little companies that started up and seeing how big they are now and how they've changed over the years and the different things that they offer now. I personally enjoy just supporting other people. Anytime I can get
mhm,
information to help grow somebody else, that's one of the main things that whenever I contacted, because I was constantly contacting, reaching out to different little businesses that would pop up. I said, hey, I if you want to send something, great. That's not the purpose of this contact. The purpose of me contacting you is trying to help get more exposure to you, just in general, just so that there's still a massive, to me, I feel like there's a massive gap and availability for product in disc golf. I mean, clothing alone, yeah, you have manufacturer clothing, which is great, but there's a large gap for like general disc golf related apparel that has the ability to grow. And
mhm,
I'm starting to see more people who think that way. There's a couple of people that I've recently reached out to that have that same mindset. And even those people who are starting to grow their business, they're like, yeah, you should do it too. Because I mentioned that. I go, yeah, I've thought about doing this for a long time. I'd love to do clothing. I wanted to do clothing for a long time. But again, it's the back end of that. When you have family, when you have work, when you have your passion projects, like Justin said, all those things together, like you can stretch yourself out thin really quickly. And it's tough to rein yourself in. And like Justin said, also saying no to certain things, or maybe not right now. That could definitely be another way
Yeah.
to address it.
So you touched on something that we actually had a question come up
Mhm.
on our most recent episode was the disc golf apparel and how it feels like it's very lacking from anybody right out there. And as someone who is behind the scenes and works with that type of stuff with the manufacturer, it is a challenge because I we know we need more apparel, we need more lifestyle stuff, but it's hard to justify when we have racks and racks of clothes that isn't selling. That
Mhm.
it would sell a little bit, but not quite as much to justify spending more money on more apparel. But
Right.
what do you guys see on your end as far as do you see any reason why the apparel is lacking?
I, I think so. I think there's, and I don't know to what extent it would be. I'd have to be more behind the scenes with apparel to really give you a great answer in this regard. But I do see this kind of throughout disc golf in and of itself, in that, let's say you have a polo, right? Now take disc golf and compare
Hmm.
it to ball golf, okay? Because that's the biggest thing we have to compare to, right? And now, how much is a polo going to cost you for golf if it's a golf polo?
I mean, you're talking
Well,
Travis Matthews, you're talking like
I mean,
60 up towards
yeah, right,
$100.
right, right.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to pay that for a disc golf polo?
Heck no.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And there's like the crux of the problem, I think,
Yeah.
and with a lot of things in disc golf is that I think that sometimes w- it can kind of, at least in terms of like product, it can get a little too big for itself. Like, hey, I want to charge the $100 for a shirt. Nobody's going to pay that,
No.
right? It's baby steps to get there, and I think finding that right place to set that price point is where maybe some of that problem starts to get solved, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we start here, and as the sport grows, it's continuing to grow. We can push it up to that level, but I think sometimes that might be the holdback, and some of it is manufacturing is expensive, right? And things aren't getting cheaper. So how do you make profit off of this, but also set it at a point where somebody's going to want to buy these things? And I think apparel has been set back by that. Because
Yeah.
I've seen the things, right? I've seen like the Dude clothing line, and I've seen the Cherry Bomb clothing line, and the price differences, even just between those two examples. Where do you set it? But I think that's probably a lot of it, right? Is where does that come in? Where does the profit come in versus you know, the desire for somebody to buy that?
Yeah,
So,
the problem is that you're right. There's a lot of risk in buying
mm,
a large quantity of the apparel because if it's not selling, it's basically cash just sitting there that you can't invest into other things.
right,
And you can't, we're not a huge company where we can afford to invest in other words, when we buy a run of shirts, it's going to be a smaller run, which means it's going to be more expensive. We can't afford to buy a few thousand shirts to get the
right,
price down to make sure the
right,
margins are there to pay for the marketing of it, to pay for the shipping of it, and the packaging, pay the employees to pull the orders. And so
right.
yeah, it's kind of I guess you call it a catch 22 where so what we're trying to, a strategy we're looking into right now is having what we call always on apparel, which means it's more, excuse me, it's not gonna be as exciting, but it's gonna have our brand on it. It's gonna be nice colors. There might be some designs to it, but it's gonna be limited. There
Mm,
might be only 50 throughout the
mm,
runs of the sizes, but we've got
mm,
to your point, we've got to prove the concept. We've got to go, oh, well, we sold 40 of those, 45 of those. Great. Let's order another 50 of another design. And until we kind of build up that desire for the apparel. So hopefully that strategy works. We'll have to wait and see. But
hope so.
yeah, I do remember
Well,
seeing though in the warehouse there are some T-shirts that are like, man, this has been around for 3 or 4 years. It's
Yeah,
like you literally can't discount it enough unless you're just giving it away, and you can't
right,
always just give stuff away.
right.
So
well, I
what's some
think,
other things that you've guys seen? Because you've guys been around for a while, and did you want to make a say something
well,
about that,
yeah,
Nick?
just really quickly on the apparel stuff. I think a big
Yeah,
thing with that is having it not manufacturer specific. So something like
yeah.
one of the companies I was talking about, I think was oh, heart hand candy, I think is what it is. They're coming back. There's another one called
Hmm.
Howdy Disc Golf. There's a lot of little businesses that either I've reached out to or they've reached to us, where it's not a specific brand. Because the thing is that yes, if you're passionate about that manufacturer and that brand, you want to support them. Totally get that. But
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
if you as a business, you want to reach as many people as you can. So let's say Dynamic Discs creates a side brand called Double Down, whatever it is, right? Whatever you want to name it, it is a House of Discs or Dynamic Discs brand. But those who don't necessarily throw solely dynamic discs can appreciate that as disc golf apparel, general
Yeah.
disc golf apparel. And I think that's one of those things I where it's going now with a lot of the athletes are having their own lines, which is good. I think that's
Yeah.
great because
Hmm.
people are attracted to just the specific person, whether or not they're on a specific manufacturing team. Like I love Simon, so I'll support him. I've had Discmania stuff. I've had MVP stuff now. Like, you know, different little things. Like there's a lot of area there just athlete wise that is a possible avenue for apparel and equipment that supports not only the player but also the brand that they represent in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I hear you. It's definitely a challenge, and but no, I agree with you. That would be. I could see that where it's more of a lifestyle. In other words,
yeah,
people just want you. People love to wear who they are, right?
yep,
And so to wear something that's disc golf to in a without telling someone, hey, I play disc golf. Do you play disc golf? They're showing it off by what they wear, and then I don't know how many times I've been at a like Silver Dollar City, and I'll see Innova or Discraft and be like, oh yeah, disc golfer, nice. It's just cool to see that there's somebody else that's
Mhm.
into something that you're into. What's some other things that you guys have seen in disc golf that you've seen kind of evolve for better or for worse?
Technology,
Yeah.
filming. There's discs now. There's discs now you can get that'll tell you how you throw it.
I
You
know,
know,
right?
like there's so much stuff that's like going into like with the innovation of everything, and I find that personally like super exciting. Right? Like I can foresee a day when we have like a machine that tosses a disc that gives us constant flight numbers, and every manufacturer goes through the thing, and we have same flight ratings on every like there's so much possibility there, right?
Yeah.
ditto.
Um, ditto, right? There's so much possibility, and the filming of everything, right? With the disc golf like network and like seeing that go from like the handheld cameras, which we did back in the day, like
Mhm.
trucking around and trying to get multiple angles and being all cool, to like actual professional sit down, planned out networks that do these things that follow a tour. Like seeing that is just almost mind blowing for me. Like it's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah,
So for better.
that's probably the biggest thing. Yeah, the quality of content. It's
Hmm.
I always have my on the show. I always say I always have my constructive criticism of anything and everything, just because I'm not looking there to berate
Old
anything.
mannerisms.
I'm yeah, old man. I'm looking at it to try to provide some sort of improvement in any way possible, because the better it gets, the better everyone you can appreciate it more. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's disc golf or hiking, or it doesn't matter as long as the quality gets better. Like there's a few things that I've recently posted that have gotten some flack just because I don't think they're looking at it the same angle that I'm looking at it. But I don't take it like serious or anything or offensive or anything like that, because everybody has their own opinion. I totally get that. One of the things was recently cameraman placement, and I totally
Let's talk
understand.
about that. Let's get into it.
So so I understand and I agree. You want to get that shot. You want to get the best shot you can of that player, of that throw, everything, right? Just in the last couple events, well, last few events, there's been situations where I see a cameraman within 30 feet, sometimes 15 feet of the athlete. And yes, the arguing point is, well, they throw well, they throw good enough or not good enough. They throw great and they have control, so much control. They're not, that's not even in their peripheral. And I was coming at it from, I'm not even talking about the peripheral of the athlete. I'm talking about the viewer's experience. I don't want to see a cameraman 30 feet from the player in front of them at a 10-degree angle, because to me, like, just push out of the way. We're trying to watch the player. I don't want to see another camera directly in their throw line, whether it's going to affect them or not. And I get, like I said, I get the, you want to get that shot. Yes, I know. And cameras are expensive. I know. Justin's picked up a couple recent, or not recent, over the years that I just at that rate boggle my mind. And they go tens of thousands, of dollars for high quality cameras for live viewing purposes. I get that.
To start.
But it's even at that, even at that, it's a double-edged sword. Which way do you want to go? Do you want that shot so bad that you're going to make the viewer look at it and go, why is that person standing there? Or does the viewer just go, I get it. I understand why they're there, because they want that for marketing purposes down the road or for clips to post. And I understand that. But to me, it's just, it makes me shiver when I see those situations pop up on live coverage. And I mean, there's a plethora of things that I go off on. Justin knows, but yeah, that was the most recent one.
I think you've just proved. I think you've just proved how you got all the gray hairs.
Yeah.
I've got a ton of them too. Your old mannerisms are sticking out. Personally, it's live, man.
Yeah, I get it.
I see a camera. It doesn't bother me as long as they're not obstructing the player. Okay.
I'm kind of with Nick. I see that point where it does take you kind of out of the moment, especially someone who does, media. But it does kind of take you out. Like, I mean, I know we're not watching a movie, but there's always those times where like, oh, I just saw the boom mic, or or I saw something, or and it's like it does kind of take you out of the moment when you see the behind the scenes stuff when you're not expecting it. I totally get that, but I think it's just the nature of the beast we're in right now, because we don't have the $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 cameras that can shoot high quality from far away. We don't have the courses that are designed around media. I know some of them try, but they're not going to 100% be able to do that, where they're literally golf courses where there's wiring and cabling built into the course because it's designed that way from the get-go, and it takes money. So when I see people gripe about that, I'm kind of like, just calm down, calm down a little bit and just enjoy where we're at right now. I mean, you guys, I'm sure, remember the days where, I was producing DVDs and people would have to wait for a week or two before they got any kind of coverage. And now you're literally watching it as it happens. So it is almost like I see it kind of as a, it's because we have so many new people into the sport, and they're probably used to watching the golf, the other events that already are mature enough to have had all that. They've gone through that, or they have the technology or the money to do that. So, I'm kind of the person that's like, just calm down. And yes, as long as you're not in their line of sight. Of course, I've had plenty of times where I'm just not paying attention, and I'm literally looking right at them with my camera in my hand going, oh my God, what do I do? And I just deer in headlights. And so I just kind of stand still. So, thankfully, most of the pros that I've had to come up to and apologize are like, dude, I get it. It happens. So I've never had anybody mad. Well, I did have one person mad at me one time. I can't remember her name. She was the girlfriend of Dave Feldberg. And we were standing, I don't remember what event we were at. It was me, Jeremy Rusko, and Robert McCall. And it was a place where there was quite a few holes pretty close together, as far as the baskets. And all of a sudden, I hear someone say, stand still. And then Jeremy looks at me and goes, just stay still, stay still. So she goes, can you move, please? And they looked at me and they go, stand still. And I'm like, standing still. And I just freeze, and she putts, and I think she missed it. I can't remember if she made it or missed it. And then she said something like, you couldn't even move, or something like that. I was like, oh my God. So I went to her later on and apologized. And she was like, it's okay. I get it. I understand. I was like, I didn't know to move or stay still or whatever. And so anyway, I felt embarrassed. But
I've had somebody get mad at me.
We've done.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
happens.
it happens. Now, what do
Yeah.
you guys do? What do you guys do in disc golf when you're not doing disc golf show? Are you involved in disc golf otherwise than that?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I was part of the sponsorship team for the USWDGC when it came to Northern California. I've been on different boards here
Oh,
in
okay.
the local area. I've been on the Folsom board, which is here in the Sacramento area, and I'm currently on the Roseville Disc Golf Club board because it's the newest course in the area that, and Justin knows, I'm not the look at me, this is what I've done type thing, but I was lucky enough to be a part of a design team for this new course that went in our area, Roseville, California. And that alone was so much fun to do that after and during the time that I
And we
was
lost
part of it,
Nick.
Yeah, I
I
think
was,
there we go.
did you lose me? Um, During that time, I learned that that's kind of what I want to do moving forward, like when I retire and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've done a plethora of other things too, but yeah, I'm pretty involved in the local scene.
Okay, we lost you. I caught a little bit of it. Are you still there, Nick?
Yeah.
Oh, nope,
Nope,
there it went.
nope, we lost him.
Finally gave up.
So what he was saying is he's a part of a lot of the boards that are out here locally, and he just
Yeah.
designed one of our local courses, helped design one of our local
Oh,
courses out here. So he's a member of that board as well. Fantastic course, except when I bogey, then it's the worst course I've ever played.
right, exactly.
It's all his fault anyways. And I point that out every time we play. Anybody misses, I'm like, hey, that's this guy's fault, partially. But yeah, he's super involved in like the local community out here and stuff, and keeps on it. He's honestly, I don't know how he does it most of the time. He's up to date on everything that goes on in the local area in terms of disc golf. So he's super, super involved. I'm a member of that club of the one that he helped design, and I just play disc golf. That's about it. That's I keep it real
Hey,
low key.
that's good.
you know?
That's I know. All right, we got you back. Can we hear you?
Yeah. Can you?
Oh, yes, we can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. So I don't know.
So
how
he
much
told
we-
me. So he told me real quick. You got into some course design work that you are loving.
Yeah.
So you want to get more into that?
Yeah, I would. That's something that after doing this project was something that I could see or wanting to do after retiring from my daily job. That's something that I would love to do. It was so much fun. It took way longer than normal because COVID happened and we started right before it. So everything kind of went on pause. And then when we came back, we finished. It took us 4+ years because of COVID, but it just went into the ground earlier this year, middle of February. So it's doing well currently. So
All right. So from a course designer's perspective, so that's something you want to get into. Tell me your top 3 courses and why.
oh geez. Um I'd say a bucket list top 3 would be I really enjoy what they've done at European Open. That course is I think for that it's more so for media purposes. I think that it plays well for people who are
Mhm.
able to watch live. I think MVP is one of my top just because I grew up playing tighter wooded courses, and that kind of brings me into that aspect of appreciating that type of a course, even though it's on a Christmas tree farm, and that could be something that is I don't know. I think we're just comfortable with that course being on a Christmas tree farm, even though it's it it's I'd like to see it as solely a disc golf course. Um, but that one, and then a third one. Oh, geez. I mean, Roseville. No, I'm just kidding. Roseville. Just probably trying to think of another one. I like Waco. I like the course that they play Waco
Mm.
at. I think that
The
having
Beast.
the open with the wind as an obstacle is awesome. I think one thing I did learn in design is that initially having having a basket just plain out in the open, I was like, oh, it's kind of simple. It's just right there. But then after having people play it and some of the better players go, not having something near the pin to address as a distance point to know what to throw, I didn't even think about that. And seeing some of those holes where the baskets are completely out in the open, you have wind as your biggest obstacle. I mean, in Emporia, the wind kicks up. So wind's a big thing there, right? And yeah, you can use again with the course that I helped co-design there, like we have wooded, but we have open holes. And I think the combination of that on any course is beneficial to anybody trying to improve their game. Um, yeah, it's tough. There's so many good courses out there. The one thing I do want to say is that again, I'm always looking out 10, 20 years for the sport is these courses, though they are great on public property, it's going to have to ultimately go to private just because of the back end and the infrastructure for it. And like you said, line routing for power, for cameras, that needs to be brought into the thought in design. And even Justin will know this one, even playoff design holes for me. When you design a course, having in mind of what those playoff holes should be and how they should be formatted and routed. I didn't like when they had the playoff where they had to cart the people all the way back to the tee pad on a par 5 hole. No, just find a way to route a few holes to where you don't have to wait 5-10 minutes to get the players back to that hole to replay that hole in a playoff. Like that's just a waste of time in my point of view. But I
Yeah.
I could go on. I could go on.
That's okay.
And
No,
he
that's
has
okay.
episode number 12. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Of designing a new course.
Right.
That's awesome. No, I love it. And I think course design is definitely something that it's obviously very important because we need more places for people to play. And I'm of the opinion that people underestimate the power of a 9-hole course in their local community.
True.
There's so many times where I'm like, I just want to go throw, but I don't want anything hard. I don't want to lose my discs. And there's a 9-hole course. It's like 15 minutes away that it gets me my fix, and it's just 9
Right.
holes, and there's some simple holes or some ones that I get to open up and really get some distance. So yeah, I think 9-hole courses are super important. Everybody wants that championship 18-hole course and have the big pros come along, and that's all fine and dandy. But just to have a 9-hole course for the community to enjoy, I think is perfect. What do you think? What do you think's the biggest thing missing in course design for the courses that have been around for a while?
Tee pads.
Oh,
Mm.
amenities.
He didn't take my bait.
Amenities. Yeah. Like
Amenities, yeah.
yeah, it's a struggle. And when working with the city, it can be a struggle because cities that don't already have courses in there and they're trying to get the first course in that area, they don't understand what disc golfers need because they've never dealt with it on the government level. And a lot of those things they don't even think about. They're just thinking about usage of the property, and they're not thinking about the necessities for the people who are going to use that property. Just garbage cans are just a simple thing that you need at every other hole at least, Um, and then the government also thinks about, oh, okay, well, we're going to have somebody go out there and pick up the garbage. I get that. But you've invested $3 million into this property. Disc golf was only $30,000 to $50,000. Throw some garbage cans on the course. Um, but there's a lot of little
Yeah.
things. There's a lot of little things.
Yeah. We still got some growing up to do, that's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
So what's up on what's in the horizon for the disc golf show? What can we look forward to?
Lots of Nick's face.
I'm sorry.
Lots and lots of Nick's face. No, I actually have a couple of things going on behind the scenes that now hopefully I'll have a little bit more time to get to. It'll be disc related. It'll be something that you haven't seen before.
Okay.
And I'll leave you with that.
Okay. No
Maybe
hints
some
or
things you've
anything?
seen before, but
Oh, okay.
in a way that hasn't been done yet,
Yeah.
to my knowledge. And if it is, patent, copyright. All right, anyways. So we'll see some stuff like that too. And then, like Nick said, the show itself, it's going to weekly, I think. And Nick, I'll let you talk more about it too, because you're definitely more involved with it now. But bringing back, I think, kind of that piece of talking more to the local community, and the entrepreneur and the other things that are involved in disc golf, and bringing that into the show itself. Because I think that's an aspect that we've kind of been missing. As we started up the show again this time around, really, I think the biggest struggle for us when starting up the show was, how do we bring it back? How do we bring ourselves back into doing a podcast? How do we get people to know who we are? And how do we know what people want to hear and see out of a show, right? We don't bring the professional aspect of it. Don't look at my professional disc golf game. I'm not, right? You don't go to me for professional advice. But you go to me because I'm the average Joe, right? And I think that's kind of what our show more brings is that feeling and that aspect to it. Yeah, you get the news. Yeah, you get some stuff in it, but it's really like, what do people like me think that aren't a pro, right? What does that look like? And I think finding that balance of bringing the news and what we want to share, because it's our show, it's our hobby, right? Versus what do people want to hear, I think is where the balance comes in. And I think maybe a big part of that we've been missing is, occasionally let's go talk to a pro. That's important, right? People want to hear from them. And then to bring in that local community member to talk about the product and the thing that they're selling, and how does that relate to disc golf, and what do they bring? So I'll let Nick talk more about it, but I think just from my perspective, maybe that's something from our show that we need to bring more into the future. So.
Yeah, more personalities, I think is a big thing, because one thing I gotta give props to is Foundation. So the Foundation team does so much content, and the different personalities that they bring to the table, just like even this new, what is it called, the Imposter series that they're starting up, that's growing. Those type of things are what disc golf needs for content, because it makes it fun, it makes it interesting. You get to learn about those people and their character and all that stuff. I think that's one of the things, like Justin was saying, is having some of our local people maybe be more involved in like rounds played, or even to feature products. They do that as well, like Disc Dice or Legends of the Chains or Ripped Revenge, all that type of stuff, the fun games that can help your disc golf game in general in a roundabout way, because it makes you throw something that you're not used to throwing. You might learn something about that disc that you didn't even realize you're good at. That's definitely one of the things that I think would be beneficial, because there's not a lot of that out there outside of really Foundation. And I don't know, like I said, making it more consumable, smaller for viewers and listeners and stuff. But I mean, there's a lot of things that we want to do. There's a lot of things I want to do, but again, it comes down to time and priorities.
Yeah,
Right.
I hear you
think
on that.
one thing that disc golf podcasts need, you missed the opportunity here, Nick, and so have I, is more disc golf answer, man. Really, when it comes
Yes,
down to
agreed.
it.
Well,
Gotta make up for that gap.
Yeah, well, even though this is my job, I still have to find time to do it because
True.
of the other aspects of my job. So yeah,
Right.
I have fun doing this, and I have fun talking to people like yourselves and learning what's going on out there. So, well, guys, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on the show. I want to respect your time and let you get back to whatever you got going on. But it was great talking to you, getting to know you a little bit more about what you got going on, and I sure appreciate it. And I wish you the best of luck in the future, whatever you guys work on.
Yeah, you as well. It was
Thank
great.
you
It was
so much.
fantastic talking to you.